Hello, everybody. Welcome to Keys to ESP. This is your host, Plastic Crack John. This week, we're going to be having a raw Aember talk with the guys, or we want to call it a rat. And the title of this episode is called Look What I Found. Joined with me today to share a little bit about this episode is Dilemma Benson,
Hello.
Dennis the Patrician.
Yo.
And once again, we are joined by the last but not least, the house always wins, Josh.
Why, hello there, everybody.
So, as we continue on with our discussions, last week we did finish up our meta discussion about the 4 sets. We thought a little bit about what to share with you guys in the following episodes. And one of our little things we're going to be discussing today is probably, since Christmas is coming up when this show is going to be released, we were hoping to discuss a little bit about perhaps some components, share some thoughts on what we use, and then maybe give you guys some ideas to, perhaps buy a little bit of Keyforge accessories for that Keyforge fan of yours in your life. And then if not, of course, maybe you guys can chime in and let us know what you guys use as well. And then after that, we're going to jump into a little bit in helping, hopefully, Benson with a little bit of a query that he may have. And hopefully... So so without further ado, let's jump right in to see what the guys are up to. How you guys doing? It's been another week. Let's go backwards. Let's go, Josh. What you been up to this week?
Things have been really busy with work. So on the Keyforge front, I do have my weekly unboxings coming up. So this one's either going to be Thursday or Friday release. Probably Friday. Non-Keyforge wise, it's been busy. Just a bunch of different hobbies as well. I built a new computer, so I'm trying to build it. And thank you guys for everyone who bought decks from me. I will remember that you guys contributed to my PC build.
Oh, so that's what all your money's going into these days, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Dennis, the Patrician, what you been up to, man?
Keyforge wise, I sold a lot of decks. Surprisingly, a lot of people started buying stuff. So I have to ship them all out. Outside of Keyforge, has been really busy with work. Honestly, it's crazy, and it's okay. It's high season for us, so I understand. But hopefully, we get out of it soon. It'll probably be the end of December, though.
Okay. But all right, at least you're just fulfilling orders. That's cool. How about you, Mr. Dilemma Benson? We will talk about your dilemma a little later in the show, but how you been doing, man?
Yeah, doing all right. Keyforge wise, pretty light as well. Just staying up to date on things. So the dilemma, just a sneak peek as to what that's going to be about, is our monthly rankings at our local LGS, and the alt art decks that are available. That's what the dilemma has to do with, and that's kind of, I guess, the most activity I've been involved with since over the last week. Other than that, same as Josh. Got unboxing videos and things like that coming in the works. Trying to stagger the release to Josh's schedule so nobody gets overloaded, and there's always a bit of new video, new content for people to watch throughout the week.
Cool, awesome. And as for myself, once again, I've just been chilling out and looking up things to talk about for Keyforge because we don't have a whole lot going on these days. Unfortunately, we have recently been back on lockdown in the GTA, so it's a little even more difficult to go out these days. So hopefully, we've come up with something cool, at least for our listeners to check out this week, and maybe share some of their thoughts later on with us as well. All right, guys. So since we know what you guys been up to thus far, let's take a quick look into components and buying. First off, though, I wanted to ask and see, what do you guys use for Keyforge? I know there's the classic, bare minimum, buy a starter kit. Well, actually, what do you get in a starter kit again? The 2-player starter kit. You get paper playmats, right?
Favorite playmats, yep, 2 of them.
And then I think you get the Aember tokens, the keys, and then do you get a chain tracker? You get a cardboard one, right?
Yes, you get a cardboard chain tracker from Coda. That's what it was, a flat board. I think some of the more recent ones might have the dial version. Definitely in the premium kit for Worlds Collide, they introduced that the dial itself, 2 pieces of cardboard. Yeah, that one. You got it.
Yeah, this one was in the premium kit. I don't think the regular one has it, but this for those listeners on audio, it's this round chain tracker and it has a little pin in the middle and helps you like rotate. When you rotate, they'll tell you how many cards. Versus the cardboard, which was a square, I believe, or a rectangle cardboard.
Yep.
And then I think the AOA 2-player starter kit and also the Worlds Collide starter kit. All the other starter kits, I think they are cardboard as well. A card rectangular.
It's a
Do you
good
guys know,
question.
Josh? Dennis? Do you guys know?
I believe so. Yeah, I believe you guys are right on cardboard counters. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, dials.
Yeah, and then the newer ones come with the Enragen ward tokens too, I think.
Yep. Since
Definitely.
starting from Worlds Collide, those are all part of it too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then Mass Mutation doesn't have a 2-player starter kit, I believe. Not that I've
They
seen.
do.
Out in the wild.
Mass
They do?
Mutation should have. Yeah,
Yep,
Mass
every set
Mutation
does.
should have a starter kit.
Oh,
I've seen
okay.
it at.
Well,
I've seen it on a Facebook group.
oh, okay. All right.
And locals has two units.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I mean, yeah, so that's the bare minimum, I guess, when people start off with. And generally, you know, that gets you started, it gets you everything. But I do know that a lot of people like to bling out their stuff. So what do you guys use?
When I started playing, I didn't have any of the tokens, so I made my own. That was kind of fun. Like I still use some of the damage tokens, but ever since then, I started buying this. I forget what it's called. Broken Token, I think. That's the company name.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
They're pretty good. I like it, but ever since when we start playing OP, they do come up with like, let's say in primes, if you place top 8, I think you get a stun token. In store champs, when you place top 4 or top 8, you get power ups. So like these little collector things that you can get, they're kind of cool for playing OP. So that promotes playing OP. So I started using a little bits and pieces of those, but I don't have like a particular thing that I match up. Like just whatever I can get my hands on, really.
Okay. Cool. So what did you first use? Because yeah, if people didn't really understand Keyforge in the past, effectively you can proxy all your tokens. I guess that's what Dennis is mentioning. In the past he kind of made his own, or you know, even in some intro games, what I've done in the past, I've taken out just coins out of my pocket, or you know, I believe when I first played with ChaosChrno, he was forging bus passes or something like that.
Yep. As a
Yeah.
Torontonian, we all know the TTC metro system and their monthly passes. They were all different colors with every month, so I took 3 of them, and those were my keys.
Yeah. So would you for Dennis? Would you use it? How do you made them? How did you make your previous tokens or something? Or did you just use like other board game pieces or something? Or what did you do?
The one I made was damage tokens. I literally printed out numbers 1, 3, and 5, and I stuck them to pennies, Canadian pennies. So I glued them on. Some of them stayed, some of them didn't, and it was fun. That's when I had time to actually try to make my own. That was fun, honestly. I had a good time doing that. Since then, like I started winning some damage token, not damage token, some stun tokens. So I used those, and I bought acrylic because it was on sale. So I figured I might as well just um buy them, use them, and I still use the old stuff. It just depends on what I feel like bringing that day, really.
Cool. How about you, Josh? What do you usually use? Or what
Um,
did you start off with, and then maybe if it changed, like what do you use after?
no problem. I started off with the Age of Ascension 2-player starter kit, so I used the tokens from that, and then it progressed to, more of the same. Just the cardboard tokens from the Worlds Collide starter kit. The only thing that changed was my Aember. There are these little like plastic plant fillers, that like gems that you would get from the dollar store that you would put in a vase. And I got these purple ones that were really, really cool. So I managed to use those purple ones as my Amber. So I was ahead of the game in terms of Dark Amber, you know what it is. But um what can I say? I'm a forward thinker. But yeah, I love the purple tokens that I got from the dollar store. I love the cardboard tokens. It got the job done, honestly. And the only extra thing that I ever got, like I have to get something that's like OP, something that's like official Fantasy Flight. Like I'm that kind of guy. So I wouldn't necessarily do third party.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. And how about you, Benson? Aside from your your
From my
bus
keys.
pass, colorful bus pass keys, what else do you use?
Okay, yeah, I have to think back, like, what did I use? And I now remember how janky it was back then. So, you know how there's that one event where we kind of cut out a hat with using foam material? Um, but like, so we had leftover material, and I didn't have any power counters. I didn't have, I think stun card. Oh, I know. Majority of the time I used a lot of stuff that John was willing to spare for me to play with. Like the card version of the stun tokens, and these are all OP pieces, right? So I did borrow those. Yeah, John can show them off. I did borrow those to play with early on in game. As for the power counters, the interesting part for that and damage counters. So I took foam, cut them into different shapes, like triangles or squares, and literally used the pen to write numbers on them. And it was like super light. There's no weight to it at all. It'll fly off the board if you blow on it. Super janky stuff, but it worked for the short period that I use it for. And then over time, just like what Josh said, as we competed in OP, we got a lot of stuff we got to use on regular between the cards that John's continuously showing off and the actual acrylic tokens that we could potentially get if we won or placed during an event. As for Aember, I was in the same boat as Josh. Went to the dollar store, kind of looked for some small beads or something colorful that you could store away in that deck box. And yeah, came across a similar item. I got a set of blue and a set of green because I thought, you know what, if I play against somebody, then I can give them a set of a different color and play head to head. I ended up gifting those away a while back to various players, so it did work out. And I still play with them to this day, even though I've collected and amassed like the orange OP acrylic Amber tokens from the very first events to the blue ones that started coming out. And we've even seen some secret colors that we can talk about later on too. So yeah, gradually moving my stuff towards more like official OP stuff, but started out just from the bottom, quite literally, and making janky stuff and putting it to good use. So there's really, in my opinion, not really a need for all the fancy stuff, but so long as you're creative enough and can bear with the quality of whatever you're using. So yeah.
Nice, nice. Yeah, so for myself, I mean, as I mentioned, just teaching people, I'll randomly pull out, whatever tokens and proxy, whatever needed. But I did come from Star Wars X-Wing. So from, if there are those who actually know other Fantasy Flight games and participated in other Fantasy Flight organized play scenarios that people brought up and whatnot, Fantasy Flight loves to, in their game night kits, their regionals, up through worlds, they have various types of promos and different types of components that they do for their games. And with Keyforge, it's no different, where they do tokens and whatnot. And a lot of this time in the X-Wing world, we called it plastic crack, because everyone just needed all the plastic, all the acrylics, as much as you can. So once once Keyforge started announcing these additional pieces, I just go for the official Fantasy Flight organized play components. Whether it's the cards, it's the Aember, the damage coins that they had. Like I see them, I go for those instead. I almost never do third party. I mean, that is an option that people can do. We'll discuss a little bit about that. And what'll happen. The only third party that I do have is these little glass beads that I have. But even then, these glass beads, I mean, you can find these at like dollar stores or whatever. But these actual glass beads that I have are, if people played Pokemon like base set, these are actually like original Pokemon TCG damage counters. And I found these like one of my old Pokemon cards and stuff. So just to keep it with like the card game scenario, I just kind of rated those. But aside from that, most of my stuff is not as official stuff. Even the metal keys, whatnot, everything. So
have you come across a player when you're sitting across them and then they notice that that's what you're using? Has it ever happened during an event?
Sitting across from a player?
Yeah, just like they see your tokens and like, wait, are those what I think they are? Or anything like that?
No, because I don't think I think this is the first time you guys like even know that these are Pokemon counters.
Well, I heard from it before because you told us before.
Yeah, no, but it's you can get them at like dollar stores and stuff. It's not like printed, labeled Pokemon at all or anything.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But if people know, then it's like, yo, that stuff is expensive. But then again, it's like you can't really tell. It's like just something from the dollar store, right? So
it's true.
Yeah, that's why if you see me feel like flustered when I lose one, I'm kind of like, oh no. But to a certain extent, it's nothing, no big deal. I mean, I know it's nostalgic, but even now, I guess I don't know. Maybe it's out there. Maybe someone will come try to snag one, but it's like, really? These are the Pokemon counters. Like, yeah.
I actually didn't know that.
Yeah,
because it looks like just regular stuff. Like there's no branding on it. Yeah.
I was looking for those sizes in like a dollar store because I have a bigger size one, and I'm like, this takes up too much space, and yours is like it fits. So I'm like, I couldn't find them. I didn't know that.
You can't find them.
Yeah, I couldn't find them.
Because
I had to like sift through the beads from the dollar store because they were all varying sizes too, right? Like the ones Dennis has are the larger ones, and even during the smaller ones, they're still varying in size. So I had to like pick out the smallest ones so that they would all fit into the deck box.
Oh man! All right, now the secret's out. Oh boy.
Yeah, special things.
If you slowly start losing some, you know who to blame.
It's okay. He still has a set of brown ones if he wants to use those.
Yeah, those are more the bigger size. That's why I didn't choose to use those. Yeah, there's different colors from the original Pokemon set, but those you can't get them anymore.
So you can't catch the ball anymore.
No.
Anyways, all right. So we've talked a lot about these different components and whatnot, but this is a card game at the end of the day, and the biggest things I would think are card sleeves that everyone wonders about, and I believe we all have different opinions about card sleeves. First of all, do you guys sleeve your cards?
Yes.
1000% yes.
You have to. That's the only way to play.
All right. Well, it's not the only way to play. There are a lot of people that raw dog it and
that's true.
use their hands. Or you find like a janky deck or something you don't care about, and you can still play it without sleeves. That's totally fine. Play how you wish.
I'm joking.
Get to clean up.
But since we have 100% Team ESP here that do sleeve their cards, what do you guys use? What do you guys recommend? If someone was to, play, hey, should I be picking up pack sleeves? What should I do? There's Gamegenics, which is the new hot thing that's even Keyforge branded. There's Dragon Shields. There's Ultimate Guard. There's Ultra Pro. Mayday. There's card sleeves that range from penny sleeves to $12, $20 packs. Actually, maybe not $20 pack. That's a little too much. I haven't seen a $20 pack of sleeves, but have I?
Unless the sleeve count is a lot higher, then maybe.
Yeah, maybe $15 is the max I've seen. But yeah, what do you guys think?
Well, I used to be. I had a relationship with a sleeve company called Riker. They used to provide me with sleeves. It was good stuff, honestly. one of the most innovative things. It's like hard to rip in pieces. But lately, I didn't find personally it's great sleeves once again. Um, to me, it was a little small though, so I'd prefer to have like a bigger, I guess, coverage for the card for Keyforge at least.
Mm.
It's perfect for Magic and other cards game like that. But in Keyforge, I need a little bit of extra space, so I've been using a lot of Dragon Shields, and like not gonna lie, I swear by it. I'm one of those people that tried a bunch of different card sleeves like Ultra Pro, Ultimate Guard. Um, I didn't the what is it called? The cheaper version of Ultimate Guard, not the katanas, but I don't remember what that one's called.
Oh, those are called. I have a bunch of them here. I think they're just called like
Just
matte
straight up.
sleeves or something. Yeah,
Yeah,
just matte
something
or just
basic.
regular. Yeah. But I use Ultimate Guards. I swear by them. Well, katanas. I'll swear by katanas. Ultimate Guard katanas. Yeah, what
Exactly.
else
But so I actually use Dragon Shield, and just because to me it's the best one in my opinion in regards to feel, size, and I guess bang for your buck. Not exactly, but it is pretty one of the, I guess, more expensive ones. But it's not. I like it so. And thanks to everybody that like pretty much supports my addiction for playing Keyforge, I'm able to buy those card sleeves.
True.
Cool. So do you guys also use? What else do you guys use? You guys use the same stuff or Benson, Josh?
Yeah, I use the same stuff as John. I think so we started off more more the older stuff. So I did used to have like a couple of Yu-Gi-Oh decks and things like that. Unfortunately, those card sizes are different and they're a lot smaller. So I wasn't able to bring over a lot of the sleeves that I had back then. But I did have like a copy of some board games, Smash Up, or other things that had a more universal card size. So I had a bunch of like old Ultra Pros, just clear ones. I figured I'd just start off with those, just make use of something that I wasn't going to use anyway. Then went out with John to buy some more stuff, and he was into the Ultimate Guard stuff, so I just kind of hopped along, and it was nice because in order to like distinguish each deck with different colors of sleeves, or like to match them with the Archon that's on the back of it, we would get an assortment of colors. And if we split between a few people, then we can each get multiple colors without having too many extra sleeves. So we did that for the base Ultimate Guard stuff, and then eventually with the announcement of katanas, we jumped into that too. And yes, I admit there is a world of difference between the two tiers essentially, and katanas do feel the best to me from what I've worked with. Dennis was gracious enough to let me try out the Rikers as well, and yeah, like for me personally, because like as gross as it'll sound, my hands get sweaty, and like as I'm like stressing out over the game, over time that's gonna stick around, and the cards get not as nice feeling to shuffle around. The Rikers, because they're very slippery compared to most of the other brands I've worked or played with, they actually lasted me the longest, and they would be the sleeves that I kind of took to all my weekly sealeds. So I would use the same set of sleeves and just re-sleeve decks as they come and go. And yeah, but right now my top tier decks I always sleeve in the katanas, or sometimes the Rikers if I run out of katanas. And my second tier decks, or just for fun decks and other things, I would still sleeve in the older Ultimate Guards that I still have lying around. All to keep them protected, so you know they'll be around and maybe outlive me. So yeah.
Cool. And Josh, you use the same stuff or what do? You raw dog it.
I actually cut up Ziploc bags and stapled them to the sides so I can put. No, I'm just kidding.
I want to see you do that one day. Just get a pack of Ziplocs and
control my cards, right?
walk up to a tournament and be like, "Yo, what is this?" Shuffling Ziploc bags.
Nature would cry more than it already does. Anyway, I use Dragon Shields. I like Dragon Shields. I never really got to use the katanas. They were a little pricey, I think.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they're kind of pricey, so I never got to use them. Dragon Shields to me did the job, and I've been happy with Dragon Shields ever since. I like the matte. the matte dragon shields. And I've got like a wide variety of colors. They're very reliable. Like I still use mine, and it's, like the same dragon shields I bought like a year ago, still like almost mint. So keep my cards really good condition.
Mm-hmm. All right. So hopefully our listeners get a little bit of thoughts on what type of sleeves and that we use. Maybe they can find some for their Keyforge people in their life. But of course, if you guys use something different, feel free to let us know. I'm curious about like what sleeves people use and what people always like, think is the next best thing. It's very interesting, I think. I'm not willing to jump out there sometimes to try out all these different various sleeves, kind of like what Dennis did. But when I do find something good, I'll for sure let people know. And if something's tried and true, I'm down to stick with that too. But yeah, what do you guys use? I'm curious. So also, being a card game, a lot of people use playmats. And once again, I mean, I should have brought this up. Fantasy Flight has done some playmats as well, like official playmats you can buy in the store. But then in their higher tier events, they do have playmats that they do give away as well. Actually, even game nights. Yeah, even game nights have playmats that are distributed as well. And for me, once again, I stick with the OP stuff as much as possible. But what do you guys do? Like, what's your playmat of choice? Or do you have one? Josh, you got one?
Playmat choice. I like. I mean, I just like the like. Are you talking about design, or are you talking about like make? Because playmat, as far as the make's concerned, I've only ever had the FFG given playmats from like tournaments from locals, and I like them a
Okay.
lot. I use a couple of them as like my extra large mouse pad, really.
Okay.
um, but if we're on the subject of playmat quality and getting commissions done, if you guys are interested, I actually got a Digimon TCG playmat made, and once it's shipped to me, I'll put that on my YouTube. So I'll actually review the company and the make of it and see how it goes.
Okay. So you
But
haven't like bought a playmat or used anything else other than the official FFG ones?
I bought the Ultimate Guard Christmas theme playmat because I thought it was cool.
Hmm.
There's like a dragon outside a house looking into like a family celebrating Christmas. It's hilarious.
Okay.
But quality wise, it's good. It's got stitched edging, which is something that I haven't seen in any of the Fantasy Flight, given mats. And the stitched edging does a huge difference. It actually protects the actual mat from like any wear and tear off the sides of the borders.
Okay. Yeah, no. They got some playmats here for like bigger size stuff, and this I've seen them. The stitch playmats are nice. A little
They're
pricier
amazing.
than normal, but yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
I think it's worth it though. If you're planning on using that mat for a long time, if that's your tournament mat, make it stitched for sure.
Hmm. Yeah, there's that new game Genic one that I've seen. It has like the premium one. It's like the
Like the
the the
non-slip, like the
it's
all black one.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I've
yeah, the
seen that.
non-slip, and it's also stitched on the side, and I've seen some reviews that it says it's pretty good.
You know what
I
I
mean, I
want
have
to
too many
see,
mats to go try it, but
dude? I want to see an RGB play mat, like the
Oh my
borders
goodness.
light up.
There is an
oh,
RGB
that would be
playmat. There is an RGB large mousepad.
You just use the RGB, like the colored, like it lights up, like an XL mouse pad, but you play cards on it.
There is one.
oh my god. You should find it and use it, Josh.
You know what? If I do come
With your
across
with
one
your
for
with your
cheap,
Ziploc with
I
your Ziploc deck.
yeah, I spent it on the mat. So my sleeves are lackluster, but the mat's great.
You can't even tell if it's sleeved or not after you look at the mat, right? The light's just gonna distract
Yeah, I
you.
mean, exactly.
Oh my god. All right, what do you do, Benson? What's your play of choice with playmats?
I mean, I never had playmats prior to this game, so I've just been accumulating them as I progress through OP and competitive play. So yeah, like I do have preferred ones that's based off design. So mostly it's just based off design because all of them are essentially the same. Though for the FFG stuff, we've noticed that like compared to the original Wild Wormhole mat, which had a thicker feel to it, compared to like the Bulwark mat, which is a lot thinner, and all the subsequent ones I think were a little lower profile. I remember our first OP event with Cascade Games. We were given a choice when we won something, like or finished first for one of the events, whether we wanted to take home a set of like the large keys, large metal keys, or a mat. And to this day, I don't know if I made the right choice, but or if there was a right choice. I ended up going with the keys because at the time we felt the value was bet more on the keys, just as a collector's item. But we later realized the mats were more limited print. But I ended up being able to play with metal keys at our locals sooner than anybody else, so that was still cool. But yeah, no, all in all, like I have a collection building in my closet because I don't have any place out here to put it, of all these playmats from FFG. Just, I think it's an addiction now at this point to like try to collect all of them, even though that's not necessarily possible, especially like the Nizek finished like winning regionals, like in order to get that mat. I don't think I'll get. But I will say one other thing was a trade. So great thing about like the community is everybody's really open and friendly. So I ran into a kid at our local LGS, and they originally play Pokemon. They really wanted the Mars mat from Open Play, and so we did a straight up trade. He gave me one of his Pokemon mats with Snorlax and Eevee, and I gave him the Mars mat. So that was pretty cool.
Cool.
That's awesome. We saw him for quite a bit too, and he kept bringing the mat. You know, it's
Yep.
like one of those things that's like, oh, I've got this Keyforge mat. You know, I want to show up and play. So
Yeah.
it's nice.
For sure.
Building up that karma.
Yeah.
Yeah, with that first Cascade thing, I think, you probably got the shorter end of the stick at this point in time. Now that we know, but
Now that we
but,
know, hindsight's
of course.
2020.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, some of those mats are going ridiculous prices just because they're. Yeah, no one even knew at that point in time. I think. I
Yeah.
don't know. Some people got lucky and got multiples or something like that. But yeah, no one knew the Keyforge was going to explode and kind of never make those mats anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Dennis? You got a preferred playmat, or did you go around like trying out multiple styles the same way you did with sleeves?
No, I've never. Okay, let me think about this. Oh yeah, okay. I was gonna say I didn't buy a playmat, but I did. So the first playmat I got is just a plain black Ultra Pro because when I first started playing, it was really distracting. Like the design was really distracting to me. Like I could not focus on the game. Like I had no idea what the cards were. So I just got a plain black, red one. And
Oh yeah, I remember
then
that one. Yeah.
yeah, I
That's
had
actually
to.
that's not a bad idea actually.
It was too distracting for me.
No, yeah,
So
for
I
sure.
went to get that, and as I kept playing, like I wanted to have an official one, but I wasn't very good at the time. And I really wanted to win a playmat, so I was lucky enough to. I think it was John who gave me my first official Wild Wormhole playmat. I think it was you. I don't remember exactly. I think it's either you or John, Benson or John. So that playmat is brought to tournaments where I really want to win. I brought it to primes, and whenever I bring that mat, like I don't lose. Not gonna lie, or I place high. So it's like a juju thing, I guess, or things that I like. I I believe in it. I don't lose when I bring that mat, but I do have quite a bit of play mats as well, mostly from OP, from winning stuff, from buying. Like I not exactly buying, but getting deals. Um, I got a Vault Tour playmat, the Shadows Fagin one from you guys when you guys went to the Vault Tour. You guys claimed that for me. Um, yeah, quite a bit of playmats, multiple copies of stuff. But if I really wanna, there's one particular playmat that if I want to do well on the tournament, I bring it, and it's my very first Wild Wormhole playmat.
Yeah, I think I remember selling it to you now for like $20.
Oh, I think it was. I couldn't remember who it was. So
Yeah.
yes.
All right. So it sounds like at least for playmats, we all prefer. Well, maybe not prefer, but we all, I guess, maybe just used what we got pretty much, and a lot of it was luckily, I guess, from Fantasy Flight official organized play stuff. But I think, yeah, I mean, being able to get something from the game itself is pretty cool. But for sure, I think in terms of it's just more of design preference. If anyone was trying to pick something off the shelf, I think there's all sorts of designs that FFG have officially on their playmats as well. So I don't think you can really go wrong as long as the design is good. I think it's more, if anything, is just rep. If people
Yeah.
even know what it is, right? If they sit across from the table from you, if they don't know that specific design had to be won from some sort of game night kit, you can get the ones from the store and it still looks good. I think anything is good as long as you play on something that you enjoy.
Yep, for sure.
There we go. Yeah, agreed.
Alrighty. So I mean, there are probably other parts. Anything else you guys want to specify? What do you guys use? I mean,
What about
aside-
storage?
no, sure. Yeah, what do you guys do? Yeah, what do you guys do for storage?
Yeah, like how
I
do
know
we
you guys
how do
love
we?
your archives and folders.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, done. We talked about it.
These guys,
That's
they
pretty
love
much what
Ultimate
we're all
Guard.
using. Yeah.
we all
Ultimate
we all
Guard.
use the same thing.
We're not sponsored by them, but if sponsorship come, we'll take it. But until
Holler at
then,
us. Holler at us.
until then, I
Gmail in the
believe.
description below.
Yeah, I believe. No, we all use Ultimate Guards for storage, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Well, aside
I-
from no, I used some of the Gamegenic stuff just because I want it, and it's branded Keyforge. But
Mhm.
I still carry around majority of Ultimate Guard. But you guys, what do you guys use? The archives?
I use the archives personally, and then I fill it with boulders. It actually
Yeah. So
fits a
what's the
good
archive?
amount
What's
of
the archive?
depth. So the archive is literally like a hollow deck storage, and it's pretty long. I want to say it's about a foot long, and you can fit a bunch of other Ultimate Guard products like deck boxes in it. And depending on the card number of each deck box, you can actually fit either 4 or 5. What I go by, I think I'm actually doing the 4. I'm doing 4 boulders of the 100 card boulders. And boulders are this sturdy plastic deck box. They're very, very sturdy. And each will fit 3. Yeah, just like that. And I've got 3 or 4 of them in an archive. There you go. And each of them will fit about 100 cards. 100s plus sleeved cards. So I actually fit 3 decks in each one. So with 4, that's 12 decks in an archive. It's actually really amazing. So you can carry 3 of your best decks from the last 4 sets to a tournament, to your locals, if you want to just mix it up. It's really good. I like it.
Cool. And Dennis and Benson, you guys do the same thing or no?
Yeah.
Same thing with me with Josh. Same thing. Nothing more. Yeah, nothing more about it. Exactly the same as Josh. Because we try to match. You try to match, like, let's say you're called the Archon decks for a red archive, and you're like mass mutation decks for like a black archive. Gets quite a bit of. Gets a little pricey.
Whoa,
But
you have different archives for each set.
okay, I have different archives for each set. Let's say
Okay.
that.
He's got a lot of
So,
decks.
4 archives: red, blue, purple, and
You're running out of colors, man.
black.
You got to figure out what you're gonna do for Dark Tidings.
I know. We'll see.
Okay, you
Maybe
still
a
got
pink
orange.
one. I don't know.
Still got orange.
Dark Tidings? I think it's like a purple, man.
No, I know.
But
Yeah.
World's Collide's already purple.
Oh, you got a problem there.
Double purple. But yeah, exactly the
boy.
same as Josh, but it does get quite pricey. So if you're willing to throw down that amount, go for it. It's not necessary.
All right.
So on top of the archive, which I do have as well, just one though, I do have the twin flip tray, like the 2 trays, or the box with 2 trays, with the slider in between. Yeah, John, you have one too. Yeah, that one.
Well, this one I had from since I played Destiny, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like
Yeah,
I like
I
the
just carried it
portability
over.
of it. Like for, I don't know, just maybe for a Vault Tour or something, if you already know the format that you're gonna be playing in, You bring like, and back then with less sets, then just bringing up to 6 decks was more than enough for a triad, for anything else. So that size was more ideal, and the tray worked perfectly for my needs. As the collection grew and we had more and more decks you want to play with, then I expanded to an archive. I started out like just filling that thing without any boxes or anything, just straight up sleeve decks and like squishing them in as tight as possible, and it could fit up to 12 decks compared to the usual 10 or less. Now I have them all in individual tuck boxes, the ones where you get from open play kits to like store championship kits. So I sleeve them up, throw them into the boxes, and label the boxes with the information I need to identify the deck. And then that way it's a lot more organized and accessible and easier to find what I'm looking for. And on top of that one, there's also that Sidewinder thing that was kind of cool. That is essentially one tray, so holds up to 3 decks sort of thing. And that's just more for like for me, I have that because back when there was 3 sets for Worlds Collide, I'd have that 1-2 tray box for like Coda and AOA, and then the third box for the Sidewinder would just hold the Worlds Collide. So I have 3 decks of each set as my main like competitive decks sort of thing. But yeah, that's my storage options.
Yeah, I mean, there's other storage options that I've been looking at. I mean, I guess on stream, if you're looking at the YouTube video, you basically saw everything I have. I don't have the archive, but I do have some boulders and mainly that twin flip tray that Benson did talk about. That's kind of like my go-to. I do have this Gamegenic one, which is pretty cool. It's Keyforge branded. It comes with a tray, but it's plastic, and this is mainly what I use for sealed though. So,
Oh yeah,
and
those
then
ones.
yeah, it works pretty well. Hasn't crapped out on me, so which I guess it proves how functional it is. But aside from that, there are ones I've seen with like the Gamegenic stuff, which is actually pretty cool. Like they have that square cube thing
Yeah.
that's actually branded. That looks like a really good kind of storage option just for Keyforge branding. Unfortunately, I don't have one. I looked into it, but it's a little bit overkill, I think.
Yeah, it's
So,
like for storage space and stuff and the layout, like it's really cool and how like the special areas are made for Keyforge. But at the same time, like with how I want to bring or what I want to bring, it doesn't suit me that much. So I didn't end up buying it. But I would have welcomed if I was able to win one. that
yeah,
that
I
was my
mean,
goal.
yeah, for sure. If I win one, sure, but I already have all this other stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a waste if I start buying all these other ones, but that looks good. And then also the new Gamegenic, they're similar to the Ultimate Guards, I think, but
Yeah.
the front
Yeah.
cover of those boxes come off, which is actually really cool. Maybe I'll give those a shot someday, but until then, we'll see. So
Yeah.
yeah, I wonder what other people use to carry their stuff around. I know some people even go those paper boxes, and you just stick them in.
So I do have on that topic, I've seen some crazy stuff in terms of what people, not really crazy stuff, but really unique ways of carrying around their stuff. So one example is toolboxes, like
Okay.
the like handyman tools kind of thing, boxes that you can put
Yeah,
nails and other tools in.
like a Stanley toolbox or something.
Yeah. And like you can customize like the layout and like how much space is separated, and like somebody made it so that it's perfect for all your tokens, all your like decks as well for the competitive scene. And it has a handle too, so like you literally just carry it around like a briefcase. That I thought was pretty cool. The fact that they use it for that purpose. I don't know if you guys seen anything else that's like that.
Yeah, I have. I know who you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
See, part of the reason why I made my stuff, because it is pretty cool. Like it's pretty fun. When you're really into it, and you can see the stuff you use. Like when you bring it to tournaments and stuff, generates conversation. But it is cool when you know that you made something and you can use it. So
Yeah, I've also seen people do 3D prints, like 3D printed tuck boxes. Those are pretty cool too.
Oh, the top boxes as well.
Yeah. They're like in a half, like a triangle kind of thing, and then you snap them together.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, you can find them on Thingiverse and stuff. If people have access to a 3D printer, I'm pretty sure people have done some crazy stuff before for Keyforge. I've tried it before with 3D printing at a local library, and I made some armor tokens and stuff just for fun, just to try out and figure out what a 3D printer was. But I think that's an easy way to do it too. If you go to a local library, usually they have access to 3D printers, or if you find some people, and it's pretty cheap, like 10 cents per gram of plastic. And like I get left with like $2, and I had like enough sets for like 5 people.
Yeah, super affordable option.
Yeah, for sure. Alrighty. So with this discussion, I mean, oh my gosh, just looking at the time, we've spent, I think, a pretty good amount of time on these components and items and whatnot. And of course, we have not exhausted a full list of things. I think just off the top of my head, there's burger tokens that people talk about. There's luxury playstyle. There's the high-end market of these all sorts of items. But I'm curious. I just want to know what listeners use as well, because I'm always down to try new stuff, as I mentioned, and I'm sure these guys don't mind hearing about other crazy things, or even just seeing what people make on their own.
Yep.
So with that, though, I want to jump over and help Benson a bit, because he does have a dilemma that we still need to tackle for this episode. Benson, do you want to share with us your dilemma?
All right, here's my dilemma. I was lucky enough to finish top placement in the monthly OP play at our local LGS, so I was due to collect on a alt art deck. So this is for the month of February, and I think in Canada we're a little bit behind the States anyway. But this deck highlights I think Not Finished With You in the Disc House. So all these decks have the Disc House in it. So I need to pick which deck to take home. And so our group has decided that based off of rank, you get to choose, but you only get to see the houses that are in that the deck comprised of, as well as the name. But you don't get to see the deck list or anything, so it's a pseudo blind pick that way. It's kind of like a sealed. And
just to put a caveat real quick, the only reason why we're even dealing with February at this point in time was because Canada went to lockdown in March, and the LGS had never had a chance to actually distribute. So It's not like there's an issue or anything. It was just purely pandemic situation.
Yeah, I think they were slow to get the decks as well and to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't have it on hand until a bit later, and I think it got pushed back way back because of the pandemic too. So
it's not like the store's fault or anything. It's
not at all.
No deal. Yeah, it's just that they finally got their stuff and it's going through. So continue.
Yeah, if anything, it's like, oh, bring back the excitement. This is like, next level cracking these decks because it's got the alt art in it. So
yeah, man, when we heard this, it was like new Keyforge news, man.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go through the 4 names. I'm just taking the first part of their name in the deck name. So there's Acidana, that is a Dis, Logos, and Shadows deck. There is Phaline, Dis, Star Alliance, and Logos. Melinda Shelley, it has Saurians, Dis, and Shadows, and Thorny has Logos, Brobnar, and Dis. So based off only knowing that, and I can read through more of the name itself as well as we go in through each one. Based off the houses alone, I need to choose a deck. And
which set are these from?
This is from Worlds Collide.
Worlds Collide.
Yeah.
Okay.
So from what we've discussed, as you guys, the listeners have, if you recall from our previous episodes, as we discussed these sets, and well, for Worlds Collide specifically, how we felt about each house and whatnot, we're just gonna like ad-lib this portion where I get the guys to get their inputs in and help me decide on which deck to actually take home. But I will. There is one caveat: is that Dennis here is also on the leaderboard, so he's actually gonna be grabbing one of these decks as well.
Woo!
So I don't know. This discussion may or may not influence what we're considering right now and as it stands. But I think we're both in agreement that we've eliminated the deck with Brobnar in it.
Why not? What's wrong with Brobnar?
Okay. In of itself, we've already talked about. We don't need to say any more than the previous episodes.
Dude, you have to get that deck with the 8 NARPs, man.
Yeah, I'm not in it for the reversal decks right now. Okay. But not only that, like there are certain decks I'm definitely open to picking up with Brobnar. But with Logos and Dis as the other 2 houses, pairing up with Brobnar, I just don't like it as much personally. So I've personally eliminated it. Though I will say the name of this deck is, I think, the best one out of all of them. The full name is Thorny, Store Leader of the Great Hall. So, in the future when somebody's collected it and scanned it, you guys can look it up on Decks of Keyforge or the Master Vault as well. So, with all that being said, help.
Man, I just go for that Star Alliance logos, man. Get the speed and the house cheat. And I think Josh might be in on this as well.
With the Star Alliance logos disc.
Yeah, the Phaline, the second one.
Yeah,
Get
you know
Star
what?
Alliance logos.
I do kind of like that, but if you look at it from an Aember control standpoint, you're relying on disc mainly.
Yep, fair point.
But you're getting a lot of speed and house cheating. So do you even need Aember control? Probably not.
Well,
right?
I mean, with Worlds Collide, Logos, if it does have the EDs and stuff, that's some good Aember
That's
control
true.
as
Key
well.
cost increases. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
key cost control is probably the highlight of the Aember control within this deck in particular.
Yeah. Because the thing is with me, what rings a bell to me is sure Dis Star Alliance logos, but I also like the Dis logo shadows. My best deck period is a Dis logo shadows deck, and it's from Worlds Collide.
Yeah.
All right.
But I also dig Saurian's Dis shadows because Saurians and shadows work well together in Worlds Collide because of big swing like Too Much to Protect and the Capture Exalt mechanic. So you know what? You can generate and control Ember with the Saurians, disrupt with this, and then if they board wipe and all that Ember on your Saurian creatures goes back to your opponent, you can potentially, if you get the right card, you can potentially get it back. But it's all a gamble. So I'll give you my Josh's Gambling Den pick after everyone's spoken.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, I would say like the Saurian Dish Shadows, the third deck Melinda looks okay, but I still feel like Worlds Collide Shadows wasn't the best, and to a certain extent, I feel like Star Alliance logos that's kind of the kicker right there. Just because of the house cheating, the possibility for blasters, the possibility for Quixelstone, it's I don't know, it's just there, right? And then the logos speeds it up pretty quick. I think Worlds Collide logos was pretty up there. Like I don't know how many other logos sets or maybe even Coda that might be even better, but aside from that, I think logos in Worlds Collide did pretty well. Saurians, yes, that's true. We did talk about for Worlds Collide with the Exalt and warding mechanic, but I feel like whether or not you hit it, I mean, if it has a Cincinnati Rex Golden Spiral, then oh man, you're screwed, right? But but that's we've talked about it. You need like Brachus in there, and like it's too many hits for rares that I feel like just if you're going middle line, kind of like what you're gonna hit. I mean, if you want the high risk high reward thing, there's still Saurians that crap out on you. So I mean, go for it if that's your boat. But if I was going middle of the line,
true.
I'd probably stick with the second one. That's my buy.
That's true. That's true. But I think you want Star Alliance for Crash. Muldoon.
Well, no, I wasn't even thinking about Crash Muldoon. My
I'm just
favorite
kidding.
card. But I mean, if you get it, it's amazing. But I don't think you'll hit him. He's a rare.
Yeah,
right?
he's the rare.
I'm just going middle of the line, right? So
yeah. I think if I'm going by your middle of the line logic, I'd actually go with the Dis logo shadows.
Oh yeah, the first one.
Yeah. And the reason why is because I think it's hard to go wrong with logos in Worlds Collide, in my opinion. There's a lot of really, really good cards. Shadows will offer that situational stuff. Like if you get a key forgery, if you get like situational Ember control is just something that Shadows does. So you can rely on that. Speed and draw power is something that Logos does. You can rely on that. This in Worlds Collide is probably the kind of more of a wild card because you get Ember control, increasing key cost, disruption, and if you don't get the right suite, then you might have an issue. In Star Alliance, in my opinion, I like the mass mutation cards in Star Alliance a little bit better than the Worlds Collide Star Alliance. in terms of house cheating, and that's what house cheating is in Star Alliance, right? So I think I'm leaning more towards the the number one quota lineup, this logo shadows for this Worlds Collide deck.
Cool. What are your thoughts, Dennis? I know you also have
a stake
have
in
a spot
this.
in this.
Yeah.
So I know Josh and I don't have a chance at these decks, so that's why we're probably sharing a little more. But I don't know if you got any thoughts you want to share, Dennis.
Okay, so not sure if it's gonna. I'm gonna persuade Benson because I do have a pick right now. As of right now, I do have a pick. I am on
Just
the
tell him
running
to
for this.
just persuade him to get the Brobnar deck. So
Yeah, I know. But yes. My question to Benson is like, what kind of playstyle do you want to play with Worlds Collide? Because
Yep. That's a good question.
luckily enough, the new houses are split, and there's no similar house combinations. So
Yeah.
to me, that makes it a little bit easier. I know that you mentioned from previous podcasts, from the way I know you, you like to cycle. You like to have
Yep.
the tools in your hands fast.
Yep.
So maybe that contributes to your pick. But for me, I like the archetype of Aember control. Always been, always has, always probably will be.
Mm.
I know how to pace. Like I've played decks enough decks to not have the cycling factor to it, to know when to pace it. So if I have to hold on to cards / if I have to set up for a big play, I like to like pace my deck more than just go 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 go.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, I have a pick, and that might persuade you. Like I said, I like Saurian for Worlds Collide. One of the top, to me at least, best houses by itself.
Yep.
So that would be probably my pick. Saurian, these shadows, and like the Saurian Star Alliance logos is pretty good as well. Just because if you hit that triple Inferno / Eddie, that is a good Amber
Yeah.
control too. So, and you can't go wrong with logos dish shadows. Honestly, you really can't.
Yep. So yeah, with what everybody said coming in, and I mean, thanks for sharing your pick too, Dennis. So I was thinking you were gonna keep that hidden until the very end. But yeah, like so my thought process in its entirety has been exactly what everybody said so far. Um, one thing I'll add now is one known card is the alt art card, which is not finished with you. So if I structure this choice based off around that card as well, knowing that that's in dis, and what it can combo well within the other houses,
Starlines, baby.
first reaction was that, and then just now like, oh damn,
Yo, you bring back the
Saurians.
Kirby's. Oh boy.
Yeah, you could bring back the Kirby. You could bring back the multiple play effects and like play down your whole hand at some point. Or you could bring back a powerhouse Saurian house. Yeah, so the
You're gonna get a
struggle.
lot of feel bad. You're gonna get a lot of feel bad when you have 3 pterodactyls in there.
Fair enough. Fair enough. They all come in stunned, which is brilliant. Yeah.
I mean,
No.
it's not a bad card, but
What Dennis said is absolutely true, and like looking at my playstyle, right? I don't really like the slow decks. So I have a minimum number I need for the pacing of it to feel enjoyment in playing the deck compared to like a slower speed deck. So Saurians is actually probably not my first pick.
Yes.
So like just to give you that reassurance, I'm like,
Yes!
you might get what you want, Dennis. Like yeah, like my first reaction to this whole thing was like, oh, well, that looks like the 3 top decks I have in my Worlds Collide like set in my collection right now. My top one is a Saurian Logos Shadows deck. Second one is a Dis Logos Shadows deck, and third one is a Dis Logos Star Alliance deck. So, I mean, the Saurian one obviously is one house off, but then I realized something. All my top decks they all have 2 out of the 3 of the houses that were the quote unquote the strongest in the set, and that was Logos, Saurians, and Star Alliance. So then my thought process shifted over to, okay, so which deck does that point to? It points to Logos, Logos, Star Alliance, this. It has the speed factor, potential Aember control in cost control, as well as the Infernuses. Maybe, I don't know, because I've had terrible luck pulling Infernuses in this set. But yeah, like, I don't know if talking about it just made it harder for me or easier for me.
I think, honestly, if you look at it from the card pool perspective too, this is all speculative, right?
Yeah, for
Like,
sure.
the things you're looking for in these 3 decks, they're all pretty common. So
Yep.
it really definitely depends on the deck. But the thing is, if you look at the whole card pool, I think the factor here is like, how do you want to play? Do you want to play with cycle or do you want to play with slow? I think all of them have potential to be good. The Logos, these shadows can have a little bit of everything. The thing is, the way I see it is like, because of mass mutation coming into the game / the meta, there's not a lot of bodies in that deck archetype. Granted, Logos became a house that can hold down the board in Worlds Collide because of the Titan Guardian, the Grammar Bot, the Eddy, the warding. So it can hold it, and it can have the Aember control and the cycling. And like I said, you can't go wrong with Logos the Shadows. But to me, like I said, I'm really leaning towards the Saurian. As far as, hopefully it has a library to them, I think that card is in Worlds Collide, so I can have a little bit of speed, but I can live with no speed, really.
All right, for the sake of my sanity, I'm giving that one to you, or like I'm staying away from that one, and you can take it, because you have that certainty for it. So yeah, do it, and then make me regret my decision later. All right.
Well, you don't have to make the decision now. So you've heard from us, so you can mull over it and figure out what you want to do.
Okay, so one more thing is, like, if I take out that house, if I, like, let's say the Soren's not there, it's just the 3. Take out Brobnar, so there's really 2.
Yeah.
I'd probably go with the Star Alliance deck more than the Logos This Shadows deck, because, like I said, meta-wise, it can hold on a board.
And I feel like there's more synergy, or I've felt more synergies playing with a Logo Star Alliance Logo Star Alliance set compared to like the Logos This Shadows in the 3rd set specifically. Like those 3 houses since Coda has always been like, oh, that there's so much potential in this house combination. And it's still true in Worlds Collide, but like I have it like one of my top decks, and there's just something about it that just feels held back. So yeah, I think I will end up going with the Star Alliance and Logos deck. So
it's okay. They all have triple Infernus, so it's okay. Don't worry about it.
I'm gonna tell you right now that the Brobnar deck's gonna have 4 Infernuses, and you're all gonna be really sad.
He's probably right. He's probably right.
And it's gonna have what is that? Shattered Throne, Pile of Skulls.
No. See, that don't matter in that deck. Like with the card combinations in Logos and Dis, you can't capitalize on the Brobnar. It's the Brobnar Soaring combo that I'm looking for.
This is gonna have 2 Lord Invidiouses too.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, that Brobnar has 4 shorties, Pile of Skulls, and Shattered Throne.
Heck yeah.
We're placing bids on the decks. We're placing bids. I'm so down.
And there's gonna give you 2 Stiltkins too.
Yeah.
And give you probably another and a Laka.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now you're gonna be crying.
Guji Dino Hunter.
Let's be real, guys.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Let's be real. We're not saying that. It's gonna be NARPs. We know.
One more thing.
Hey, if you get an 8 NARP deck, I'm sure someone's in the collector's field gonna pay good money for that.
Oh yeah.
One more thing I wanted to say. Luckily enough, that Josh mentioned earlier, we have a deck that's like really good actually in the Logos This Shadows. not to throw out the information in your deck, but it had a really low creature count. I'm not saying it's a crappy deck. I'm not.
Oh, you're talking about
It's just
mine?
like, no, I'm talking about Josh's third set
Oh,
deck
okay. Oh, okay.
for
Okay.
Logos Dish Shadows. Because of Mass Mutation implementation, I'm usually the person that says I don't need a board to win. You need a
Mhm.
board to win. You need to use your board to win. I've noticed that because I have a lot of decks that doesn't have a board. It becomes a little bit more inconsistent.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
but that's
Yeah.
the beauty of my deck though, because it has a low creature count, but all those creatures do something. And the win con isn't, and there's tons of removal. So in the previous podcast where we talked about board presence and how the meta's been shifting, I emphasized that board control, board presence doesn't have to mean number of creatures on the board. It could mean how much removal you have and the quality of the creatures that you put down. So the ROI in my deck is being able to play quality creatures even if the count is low, but having a lot of actions that remove or take care of my opponent's board as well. And the draw power is also insane. So
So the thing with that is, it's just like your deck has a lot of removal. Not a lot of decks have a lot of removal, and I don't know if I want to rely on that factor of me trying to draw that. Like picking these 3 decks is what I'm saying. That's why I'm leaning more of the Saurian because it has a board, really.
yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's gonna fall down to the lineup, like what you get.
For sure.
So that deck is a one of a kind deck that I love. Um, will ChaosChrno be able to pick up that one of a kind deck? It all depends on the RNG, baby.
Yep.
It's true.
All right. So yeah, I think we know. Well, we know what Dennis is getting, and I think I know what I'm getting. So maybe we'll revisit this in a future episode and see like how that turned out. Am I gonna be full of remorse and Dennis gets that deck that everybody wants with the solid Saurians? Will I get the based off these houses a deck that suits the playstyle that I'm expecting from this, or is one of the other 2 decks maybe the Brobnar deck does have the lineup that the dream lineup that no one ever thought possible, but it's there, and we'll see if our friends at the local meta, if they can share that information, then maybe we can discuss that on a later date.
For sure. Sounds like a plan.
Did that help you
So,
out at all? Sorry.
It did like it helped, and then it created more questions, and then I'm like, you know what? Do you know what you want? And but if I'm still searching for my ideal deck, then I'm still leaning this way. So I'd be happy with either choice really, but I'm happier choosing one of the other 2 because I know you get what you want to. So
Part of the reason why I want to choose that is because my triad, quote unquote, per se lineup has 2 out of the 3 houses in it. So, like,
okay, yeah, makes
this
sense.
Shadows. So that's part of the reason why I want to choose it. If it's not there, it's okay. But that's part. Like I said, I just am a big fan of Saurian.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
alrighty, so we will revisit this topic next week and see what's up, or whenever you guys get your decks.
Yeah. Don't know when that is, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah, and in the meantime, for our listeners, we are more than happy to receive some feedback, whether it's on YouTube or in our email at extrashards. We would love to hear your feedback on what components you guys use, what sleeves you use, playmat styles. Even though this was a more casual discussion, we did touch a bit on, I guess, our thoughts on how we analyze some of these possibilities of selecting decks at the end of this episode as well. But we would love to hear your reactions and also how you guys feel. Just to let you know, we are also concurrently releasing our episodes on YouTube every week on Thursdays as well. We have been missing a week here and there, but we're trying our best to keep it up with you guys. So, hopefully, without any further ado, we will have our closing spiel for each of our guys. Anything to plug, guys? What you guys up to for the following week? Josh?
Yeah. I'm making Keyforge unboxings towards the end of the week. I have to pick up a little bit more decks, so I'm a little excited because I'm planning on continuing the unboxing series one deck a week. Digimon TCG, I'm also building that, and I want to start playing Keyforge again soon. So you might catch me on the Crucible Online.
Ooh, what's your screen name if they're gonna see you there?
It is Joe Dobby, JODOBBI.
Cool. Benson?
Yep, just like we said at the beginning of the video, or recording, making some unboxing videos as well. Screen name is ChaosChrno, ChaosChrno on YouTube. And let us know also if you'd want to see Dennis and I face off with the decks that we pull from this store leaderboard.
Ooh, that'll be a fun one.
Ooh, good idea.
Yeah.
How about you, Dennis the Patrician? What you up to, man?
Still selling some decks. Unexpectedly sold a lot, not gonna lie. That was great. Thank you so much for everybody who bought. Not much to plug. I haven't been able to get any product lately. Maybe I will pick up some stuff, but yes, stay safe, everybody. Keep playing Keyforge and keep enjoying the game.
Awesome. And this is, once again, Plastic Crack John, along with Team ESP. We are, once again, delighted that you guys have spent your time with us for this episode 8 of Keys to ESP. Until next week, happy forging, everybody.
Happy forging, y'all.
Ha-